Hello, ladies. It's Rosetta Thurman, founder of HappyBlackWoman.com, here for your day one video live stream for the Get Focused 5-Day Mindset Challenge for Black women entrepreneurs. I am here to share some training with you on the topic for your day one assignment, and that is Envision Your Dream Lifestyle. Now, for those of you who are new to me and you just heard about me on Facebook, or you saw my post or my ad on Facebook for this challenge, I wanted to start today's training off with a bit of an introduction and a bit of my philosophy and approach to the topic for this week's challenge. So I'd love to see all of you jumping on and joining in. Happy Black Woman is actually my second business. My background is actually in the nonprofit world. So I did nonprofit management. I got my master's degree in organizational management, and I did fundraising. I did HR. I did leadership training. I did so much in the nonprofit world that in 2007, I got clear that I wanted to increase my reputation in my career, and I wanted to really be in the limelight for different opportunities and raises, promotions, all of that. And so back in 2007 is when I started to create my first business. So my journey as a Black woman entrepreneur is where we're starting today, and my journey began in the nonprofit world, where I really decided that I wanted to put myself out there and market myself and build my reputation so that I could improve my career. And so that led to me starting a blog, an online website where I shared articles with my expertise with my colleagues in the industry. And that led to me launching my first business as a nonprofit consultant, speaker, trainer, and coach. And so I did that business on the side for 2 years until the end of 2009 came, and I had a decision to make. I was speaking at conferences all over the country. I had career coaching clients. I was consulting with some organizations on their nonprofit leadership and management. And I said, man, if I didn't have to work full time, I could do this full time because I'm all booked up. I used all my vacation time to do my training around the country, and I decided that, hey, I'm going to quit my job and see if I can do this full time. So I quit my job as of January 1st, 2010, and I have not worked for anyone since then. So at this point, I think that I'm unemployable. I don't think I could ever work a job again because it's just I've been out of it too long. I don't want to go back. And if you are the kind of person who doesn't want to work for someone else, you probably know what I'm talking about. I'm unemployable at this point. So I did my nonprofit consulting business full-time for 3 years. So all total, I had that business for 5 years. And people say, oh, nonprofits don't pay, churches don't pay, government doesn't pay. I got contracts and bookings from all those different groups that people say don't pay. And so if you are wanting to work with those types of organizations, just know that you have to know your worth, and they will pay if that's what you want to do. So I replaced my salary from my job with my nonprofit consulting business. And in 2010, I just decided to start blogging about my journey. And I started this blog called Diary of a Happy Black Woman. And some of you may remember that from back in 2010. And I quickly just changed it just to Happy Black Woman. Thank God I got my domain name when I did, because it's, turned into this beautiful brand and community that became a second business. So 2010, I created this blog. By 2011, we were having meetups in Washington, D.C., where I lived. And by 2013, I was doing workshops and trainings and doing coaching with Black women who wanted to do the same thing I had done. Quit my job, travel the world, make my own money, live on my own terms. And so I stopped my nonprofit consulting business and decided to do Happy Black Woman full time. And so I began doing Happy Black Woman work full time mid 2013. And from there, I took my business from, I don't know how much I was making, probably less than 10,000 for Happy Black Woman in 2013 to now in 2016 doing $1 million in sales. So I have seen a lot since 2007, 10 years of building my brand in 2 different industries, 10 years of being online and using marketing to get the word out and build my business. I have a lot of experience, and I also know the other side of it. I know the side of what it takes to generate the kind of success that I've had. I know that it has not been an easy road. A lot of the things have come naturally to me, but when I had my job, I had to work a lot. I had to work in the morning and the evening, and it really required me to be focused. And that has always been one of my strengths, is being focused on what it is I need to do to build my business, to build my career. And fast forward to today, reaching a goal of making $1 million in business is a milestone. It's not the end all be all. And I got to a point where I had a choice to make. Do I want to keep growing and let's say we'll do 2 million this year or 3 million or 5 million or whatever? Or is it time for me to step back and see if there are different structures I want to create for my business and for my life? And that wake-up call came for me actually the end of last year when I was diagnosed with anemia. For me, anemia is about iron deficiency. I have an iron deficiency, and it causes me to feel really tired. And I just was wondering, with my doctor, what is going on with me? I used to have all this energy. For years, I was borderline anemic, and I just became full-blown anemic. And I had to really look at my business in a different way. And so what getting focused meant for me then, it means something totally different to me now. And so I am taking this time to reflect and really get clear on how I want to make my money in my business, because there are a lot of different ways to make money, and it needs to be on my terms, just like it should be on your terms. There's a lot of different ways to live your life, and it can be on your terms. So that's what this whole concept of getting focused is all about for me for this challenge, that when you get clear on what you want your life to be like, when you get clear on what you want your life to look like, you get clarity on what you want your business to do as well. You get clear on what you want to deliver in your business. You get clear on how many hours you want to work in your business. I found that hustling and grinding and working hard is not a sustainable lifestyle. And I'm still pretty young, right? But when there's other considerations that you have, and I know many of you have way more than me, right? There's children and hubby and aging parents and different things you do in your church and different things you want to do for yourself and your health and your job if you still work full time. All of those things make up what you need to navigate around getting focused. So before we talk about time management or how to hold all of these things, I don't want to coach you on how to deal with everything, how to handle everything. I want to coach you on stepping back and really asking yourself, is this what I want my life to look like? And if it's not this, then what is it? And for many of us, sometimes it is a health issue that forces you to slow down. For some of you, it is, having something go on in your life, whether it's with your family or with your a romantic relationship, that causes you to step back and really reflect and say, wow, I need to focus on this over here for a little while, and it caused you to make some different decisions. I always say that, being a Black woman entrepreneur is a very unique place to be, because not only are you an entrepreneur trying to build a business and do something good in the world and make your mark, which most people are not entrepreneurs, they work jobs. So you're already in a different category by making yourself an entrepreneur and a business owner. And then you add woman to that. So as women, we have different considerations that men don't even think about, right? So when you make decisions, you include often all these other people in your decision making, because that's what we do as women. And when we get hit emotionally as women, it affects our business. And it doesn't mean that you have to just bounce back and get back into the groove and, all of that, like jump back into that stressful lifestyle that you had for yourself. It means that maybe you need to do things a little differently. And so that's why today's exercise, envision your dream lifestyle, is so important. So I wanted to give those of you who are new to me a little bit of the backstory of where I'm coming from when I talk about getting focused so that you can grow your business. It starts with you. It starts with you getting clear on what it is that you want. And it's not about just dealing with what's going on in your life. It's about totally changing things if it needs to be changed. It's not about building a business on top of an unhappy life. It's about getting clear about what you want your life to look like so that you can create a business around your life, around your lifestyle. At work, you're taught to build your life around your job so that you're not allowed to take off work if something's going on at your job. And as an entrepreneur, you get to make decisions based on what it is that you want to do, so that you don't work with clients if it's your daughter's graduation. You don't have to make those kinds of decisions when you are fully in your power as a Black woman entrepreneur doing your business full time. So this exercise, the ideal life narrative for today, is really designed to help you start to imagine yourself as that Black woman entrepreneur that you want to be. The kind of woman who gets what she wants because she knows what she wants. And the kind of woman that would never build a business that is out of alignment with the lifestyle that she wants. So let's see. It looks like you guys are seeing the video and some people are not seeing it. So glad that you guys are here. When you're using different technology, sometimes it takes a little while to get used to it. But now, tomorrow, you'll know exactly what to do. So congratulations. And some of you will want to use this technology for your own business, which is really cool. So today we're talking about what it means to envision your ideal lifestyle. There's power in knowing what you want, because most people walk around not knowing what they want. And when you actually write out your ideal lifestyle in present tense, it is an affirmation. It is an ongoing affirmation that you have for yourself. When you say, I am living in my favorite city in the world, and I am in love with my soulmate, and I am traveling whenever and wherever I want to, and I am giving back to organizations in my community. I am taking vacations with my family. I am paying off my student loans. I am, those two words, I am, are two of the most powerful words in our English language. And the more you can get in touch with the energy of what it would be like for you to live that lifestyle, the more likely it is that you'll make different decisions in your business that are in alignment with that. So for instance, if you wrote down in your ideal life narrative that you want to live in a beautiful home in Miami, let's just say, okay, you want to be in a warm place, you want to be in Florida, you want to be in Miami maybe. So you write that down, and when you're writing this down, it's not about it being a dream or a wish. It's about you affirming that this is your life. And at some point you're going to experience all of the things that you wrote down. It's not a wish, it's not a dream, it's not make believe. So you want to obviously write down what's in your heart. And so if you have a desire to be in Miami, you're right, I'm living in a beautiful home on the beach in Miami. And so you get into the energy of that. You read that ideal life narrative as often as possible. You type it up, print it out, put it next to your bed or in your bathroom mirror or somewhere where you can just see it often. And so should you get an opportunity to move to Miami, you will really consider taking that opportunity. Or should you get an opportunity to do something else that doesn't take you any closer to Florida, you might turn that down. And so I had a decision point. I've been doing this exercise for years, and it's helped me make a lot of different decisions in my life. When you are clear on what you want, it helps you to make sure you stay focused on your vision instead of being pulled in all these different directions. And one of the decision points I made was around the lifestyle piece. I was in Washington, D.C. for years. I built my nonprofit career there. I met some great people there, had a lot of great opportunities. However, I got to a place where I was writing down on my ideal life narrative, like I want to live, I am living in a beautiful apartment, or condo in Hawaii, or I'm living near the beach in Hawaii. I'm in Honolulu. And I just kept writing it. And it got to the point where I was like, Rosetta, at some point you have to make some action to make your ideal life match up with real life. So I had a decision to make, and I said that, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to move to Hawaii. And 2013, October 23rd, I want to say, I moved from Washington, D.C. to Honolulu, Hawaii. And I was there for 3 years. And then I met the love of my life, and now we're here in San Diego, which is a 5-hour and 26-minute flight from Honolulu. I just came back from Honolulu for a retreat for my mastermind members. So, knowing what you want for your ideal life helps you make decisions that are in alignment with that. You cannot just keep going for years and years and years, knowing what you want, but not giving yourself permission to have it. And so that is part of this journey, is not just knowing what you want, but giving yourself permission to have it. That's what today's exercise is all about. It's not about writing down some make-believe story, fairy tale. It's about just getting clear that this is your life. And at some point in the future, we don't know how long it will take, you will be living that life. So make it something good. Make it something good. So for your ideal life narrative, some of you have already completed the assignment. Some of you are just getting started, or you plan to do it later. A few tips I can share with you are, when you write your ideal life narrative, be as specific as possible. Over the years, I've learned to get more and more specific with my ideal life narrative. The more specific you can be, the more energy you'll have around it, the more you'll be able to visualize it when you wake up in the morning, when you go to bed at night. The more that I wrote down, I'm living in Hawaii, the more I got the energy of being there, feeling myself there, really imagining myself there, and knowing that I belong there. And so when I left DC, in my mind, I was already in Hawaii. So people were like, oh, you're leaving, we're going to miss you, and how can you leave, and aren't you afraid? And I'm like, no, I'm actually already there. I just need to physically get myself on the plane and physically get myself there, because in my mind, I'm already there. I'm already experiencing my ideal life, that part of it. And so the more specific you can get, the more you will see yourself there, and the more you will start to internalize it and begin to make decisions in alignment with it. And so you may start thinking now, for those of you that have finished the assignment, what are some decisions that you can start to make now that would put you in alignment with your ideal life narrative? This is like your extra credit, right? What decisions can you make now that will put you in alignment with your ideal life narrative? What decisions can you make now that will get you closer to that life that you want? I always tell my clients that you're always somewhere between, 0 and your goal. So if you have a goal to live a certain place or travel to certain places or do certain things with your money or experience certain things in your life, you're always somewhere between 0 and that goal at any given time. So some of you, maybe you want to buy that house in Miami. Maybe you have a bank account, a savings account for that house. Maybe you don't. You could take some action today, this week, that'll get you closer to that. So for me, when I decided that I wanted to move to Hawaii, I kept writing it down. I'm like, it's time for me to go. What did I have to do? I had to take some action to get me closer to that reality. So I had to buy a plane ticket, and I bought a one-way plane ticket. I had no intentions of coming back to DC. And I took that action, and then I was closer to my ideal life narrative. There's some action that you have to take. For some of you who are single, for instance, so this is part of my story, right? If I say I want to get married, I have to date someone first, right? I'm not just trying to look for an arranged marriage. If I want a husband, I've got to start dating someone. And so I got to put myself out there. So for me, I started an online dating profile. And that's how I met my boyfriend. We've been together almost 2 years. And we met on Tinder, actually. So talk about, taking action. It's not always big actions either. Sometimes it's small things, putting up a little profile on Tinder, or, setting up a savings account for your home, or, buying my plane ticket to where I wanted to go. For some of you who want to travel to certain places, hey, look up some flights and see, what it would really look like for you to travel there, instead of making it a dream or a wish or make believe. Because your ideal life narrative is none of that. It's real. It's just a matter of time before you experience it all. Right? So that is my training on your ideal life narrative. Be as specific as possible. Have it somewhere where you can see it, every day. Think about it as much as possible. Get into the energy of what it would feel like to be living that vision for yourself, and then make decisions accordingly. Look around your life to see if there's anything you can start doing now that will put you somewhere between 0 and your goal. You don't want to be at 0 for everything that you wrote down. Do something, take some action that's going to get you closer. And for some of you, that action is going to be saying no, letting go to some of the things that you have in your life, releasing some extra stuff you've been doing at work so that you can focus more on your business. We'll talk more about that in a future assignment. But for today, just really get in tune with your desires. Really give yourself permission to admit what you want, even if it's not what you were taught to want. Give yourself permission to write it down, even if it seems like so far-fetched at this point. And release some of those thoughts that have been holding you back until now. Thoughts like, who am I to want this much? Could I really have this life? Do I deserve this life? Notice them as they come up, but let them go. Allow yourself to feel what it feels like to not be stuck or bound or held down by those thoughts anymore. And see where else in your life you need to let go of people that may not be in alignment with your ideal life narrative. If in your ideal life narrative there are people that you don't want in your life, you don't have to wait to let them go. You can start that process now. All right, so that is my training, and now I would like to take the next 5-10 minutes and answer any questions that you all have about envisioning your ideal life, about getting focused in general as we go through this challenge. I'm excited to be here with you. Yes, okay. Are there any questions for me that you ladies have on today's live stream? You can go ahead and type in your comments and I can see them all. Okay. Milagros. Milagros, what steps do you use to get unstuck? Well, it depends on where you're stuck. You know, it's a very general question. But first of all, you have to know where is it that you're stuck? What is it that you want to get unstuck from? How, you know, is there something that you're not doing in your business or your life? You're not taking some action and you feel like you're stuck. First of all, you need to know, you know, what is it that you feel like, where is it that you feel like you're stuck? And there's different actions you may need to take based on that. Okay. Kimberly says, I'm having an issue narrowing down what to focus on first, and can you multitask? So I'm guessing you're asking about multitasking in your business. When you talk about what to focus on first, are you talking about having different business ideas, Kimberly? If you're talking about having different business ideas, I do not recommend that you focus on more than one business at a time. Choose one business and start making good money with that business, you know, I would say 2 to 3 years before you even think about starting another business. Malone, how do you balance a 40-hour corporate work week and trying to build your own business? Well, we'll talk about this more in later in the week with some other of your assignments, but essentially you're going to have to carve out time throughout the week in other places. So you're going to have to carve out time before work, after work, on the weekends, lunch break, vacation time. There's really nothing more that you can do beyond that. And it's plenty. I mean, you can carve out another, 20 to 30 hours a week. Some people find an extra 40 hours a week, you know, to work on their own business. So you certainly can carve out that time. You get to decide where it's going to come from. That's the exciting part. You get to decide where the extra time is going to come from. But it's typically going to come from before work, after work, on the weekends, your vacation time, your lunch break. Those are the times you have available. And you get to carve out that time for you and stick to it. All right. Let's see. Renee, how far in advance should we be looking into the future of our ideal life? In your ideal life, the ultimate life that you want to live, that's what you want to write out. Your ideal life doesn't have a time limit on it. I don't give my ideal life a time frame because you don't know how long it's going to take for you to get to a place. You don't want to make it take 10 years if it doesn't have to take 10 years. I honestly thought that it would take me 10 years to figure out how to generate $1 million a year in my business in a year. And it only took me 3 years to figure that out. So you don't need to make it take longer than it has to take. So I don't put time limits on my goals, you know. We will talk more about goal setting tomorrow in terms of, you know, monetary goal setting. But for today, write out in your ultimate life, like, what are you, when you want to say, like, look, I've made it, this is the life that's going to make me happy. That's what you write out. And there's no timeline to it. There's no time limit to it. Okay, Jacqueline, how do you stay focused on one thing at a time? I find myself all over the place. Well, Jacqueline, it sounds to me like you probably don't have a plan that you're working from in terms of your business. When you sit down to work on your business, it should be clear to you what you should be doing. So, certainly you want to have your to-do list for the day that's in alignment with your goals. So first things first, get clear on what you want your life to look like. And, this is an unfolding process this week to help you get that clarity so that hey, if I want to build this type of business, which you have written out already in your ideal life narrative, then I should probably be focused on these tasks, right? You're not doing random stuff. And if you feel like you're all over the place, you're probably doing random stuff. So get a plan, Jacqueline. All right. So Kimberly said tasks. So Kimberly, your question was, focus on different tasks. So, okay, great. So if you have trouble figuring out which tasks to focus on, number one, you want to focus on the tasks in your business that are revenue generating. Revenue generating. We'll talk more about that tomorrow, but essentially, you are not going to make money in your business without doing specific activities. And so a lot of us get overwhelmed and overworked in our businesses because we're just focusing on way too many things that don't make us money. So when you get clear that, it's not about hustling and grinding and doing as much as you can and being on every social media platform and trying to figure out Pinterest and Facebook Live and networking and all that, when you get clear that it's not about that, it's about figuring out what are the tasks that are income generating for you, then you will not be so overwhelmed and you'll know exactly what to do. So I'll tell you the same thing I told Jacqueline, is it's important for you to get a plan so that how you're going to be making your money and where your clients are going to come from, how you need to attract those clients and focus on those tasks. Right? So, great questions, ladies. I have time for a few more. So, Corey said, I turned 40 in December and this has done major damage, meaning that voice that says it's too late. How do I turn this off? Well, Corey, I have clients of all ages. We have in our last event, we had people from 20 years old to 68 years old. And this age thing comes up in many different ways. Some people think it's too late because they're too old. Some people think it's too early because they're too young. So it comes up on both ends of the spectrum. And so the way you're not going to think your way out of that mindset. Like you're not going to, you can't just turn it off like a switch. I wish that was the case. But Corey, what you're going to have to do is make a decision. It's not about turning off the thought it's too late. It's about just making a decision. Do you want it to be too late for you to have the life that you want? And if that's the decision you want to make, fine. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just go through the rest of your life. But the average, lifespan of someone in the U.S. Is, I think it's 88 years old now. I forget what it is, 80 to 88, something like that. So you've got plenty of time. You've got like another 40 years at least on average to be here. So if you make a decision that the next 40 years of your life are going to be the best years of your life, it's a totally different mindset to be in, and you get to choose. You get to choose how you're going to approach that. And if you choose that the next 40 years are going to be amazing, you get to make some different decisions about your life. You get to make decisions about your career, about your job, about your business, about where you live. Like when you get clear that life is short, you get clear that it's okay for you to make some different decisions, even if people don't agree with them. So for me, moving to Hawaii was a decision that a lot of people didn't agree with because I was far away from my family and people were worried about me and really asking me just dumb questions like, are there Black people there? Do they speak English? And I'm like, I'm not worried about that stuff. Like you sit here where you are and worry about that. I'm not worried about it because I'm clear and I made a decision that I'm going to live my life for me. And when you make a decision, then everything starts to look differently. And so Corey, for you, I would just say make a decision. How do you want your life to go? And your ideal life narrative can certainly help with that. Okay. So, Carice, how do you balance staying open to what God wants for you while claiming what you want for yourself and not feeling guilty doing so? So, Carice, I have my own spiritual beliefs, and I believe that God, the goals and desires that you have are God-given. You would not have the desire to build a certain type of business or do certain things in your life, if they're not God-given. Like the things that we want to do, we want to serve people, we want to help people. I believe that those are all God-given visions. And so I don't see what I want to do at odds with God's purpose for my life. And that is my personal belief. And you've got to do your own work for yourself to determine what your beliefs are. I don't believe that there's a separation between me and God. I don't believe that, God's over here and I'm here. I believe that God is within me, and I'm always getting guidance, guided by God and getting led by Spirit. And I don't believe that anything that I would do is out of alignment with that. So the thing that happens though is a lot of the times when we are afraid of what it would mean if we did what we wanted to do, we start to wonder, is this really the right thing? Is this, what God wants me to do? Is this what my family wants me to do? Is this okay for me to do as a woman at this age? And all these different questions start to come up, and you want to get to a place, do the inner work that is necessary for you to get to a place where you can trust yourself. There's a quote that I love by Dr. Wayne Dyer, and it says, trust the wisdom that created you. Trust the wisdom that created you. And so the wisdom that you have was given to you. If you are a spiritual person, that is a belief you can hold. That's what I believe, that I trust the wisdom that created me. And everything that I know and do is not all me, because I'm not separate from God. So you can do with that what you will, but hopefully, it gives you some inspiration to really look at your beliefs. So I'll take one more question before I have to go. It's been amazing being here with all of you. All right, so Linda, okay, I own a beauty salon and want to gracefully leave it and pursue a business of helping women break free from the baggage that keeps them bound. People think I'm nuts, but that is my calling. How could I best do that? So, Linda and everyone else, your calling has nothing to do with anybody else, right? If you wait for everybody to agree with what you're doing, you'll never do anything. So if that's what you want to do, that's what you should do. I mean, it's a vision that has been given to you. I always say that I'm on a path to manifest the vision that has been given to me. Some things that I've wanted to do, even with Happy Black Woman, they've come from me journaling. They've come from a dream. They've come from places that I know is not just, intellectually I should do this, but it's inspired. And so, when you have a calling to help a certain group of people or in a certain way, there is a calling and you're inspired by that. And when that happens, I believe you should go for it. And so to best start that is to do your research, right? So look at, you already have, a beauty salon, look at what it would look like for you to have this different type of business. And I would definitely encourage you to get mentors who have done what it is that you want to do. Who are some people out there who are helping women break free from the baggage that keeps them bound? And doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be someone that you know already in your life, but do your Google research and see who's out there that is speaking to women and holding conferences for women and coaching women and things like that. And you will get some great ideas about how you could go about starting your business doing the same thing. I highly believe in mentors. I highly believe in investing in yourself. I wouldn't be where I am today without investing in myself, because I had no people in my life, in my family or in my colleague in my professional circle who could tell me how to make $1 million doing what I love to do, which is helping people, teaching, speaking, writing, because they hadn't done it themselves. So I highly believe in mentors, investing in yourself, and giving yourself permission to fulfill your calling. Even if other people think it's crazy, it's not their calling. They don't have to understand it. They don't have to approve of it. They don't have to give you their blessing, because it's yours to fulfill, and you don't have to second guess it either. So that is the last thing I'll say, is you don't have to second guess it. From whatever you wrote down in your ideal life narrative to whatever is coming up for you now, business-wise, there's no need for you to second guess it. Trust yourself and trust the wisdom that created you. All right, ladies. I will see you all tomorrow. It's been a pleasure getting to know some of you already. I can already tell this is a powerful group. We're going to do some powerful things, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.